Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good weekend. I wanted to get out a video this weekend for members to go over all of my open positions. We're going to start with the recent buys from last week, and then we'll just kind of check in on some of our longer held positions. CJ's done such a good job with the market overviews. I'm not going to hit on that too much. Here's the SPY, S&P 500 ETF. When I look at this chart, I just kind of think neutral. I'm not really sure what to think at this point. We have this 278 area that price turned against here. That might be resistance. We have this 200-day and two mid 250s here that could act as support. So one possibility that we have to prepare ourselves for is we just chop around between those areas for a while. And usually a choppy market like that, we haven't dealt with that for a while, but it can frustrate a lot of traders. So it's definitely a possibility. If we zoom in, shorter term, what to look for next week. This is the hourly chart. There's this 270 level that was support here and here and here, and then it broke below it. And then late Friday, you can see as it got here, it kind of stalled out around that level. So if we can get above that 270 level, that might be bullish shorter term. And if that acts as resistance, maybe we'll see if that's a ceiling shorter term. But again, dialing back, this is the daily chart. Obviously, if we look at the weekly chart, long-term uptrend still in place. Daily chart, it's under a little pressure here and just kind of neutral for me. So Friday, there was 4 new additions to the portfolio. Really like these charts. It's rare that I would have 4 additions at the same time, but the chart's all set up. The risk reward was there, so you got to take it. In the past, a mistake that I've made is when you watch something for weeks or even months, and it finally gives you the signal you're looking for, and you don't take it. You don't want to freeze up. If the signal's there and you know where your stop's going to be, you just have to pull the trigger sometimes. Of course, you can get stopped out of any trade. I really like, as I go through these charts, just about all my open positions I think look really good right now, and I'm really excited, and I hope they turn into big winners. But we can have a big gap down on Monday, and that'll change everything. So you never know the outcome, but if the setup's there, the risk reward's there, you don't want to talk yourself out of it. You have to pull the trigger. You don't want to freeze up. So Friday, the signals were there, so I entered 4 new positions. First one is VRNS. I took a half position here because I had 2 tech names. Another one was AKAM, which we'll go over. So this one here, this 55-50 area was support, or I'm sorry, was resistance. It broke above it and was support. And then Friday, it was kind of looking weak to open. And then it started closing a lot higher. So I think the buyers are coming in here. I'd really like to see if this could get over, this $58, $59 level. We might get a nice run out of this one. Our risk here, this stop is this area around 52. We got the 50-day, that consolidation. That's a good stop level. I think I put in our sheet here, 53 area. So that's right around the 50-day. Give it a little room in case it decides to dip. Sometimes they dip below an obvious support level like this and then reverse quicker. So that's why I usually give them a little bit of room, especially here. This is just a half position. So really like this chart. If we go back to the weekly here, this is where I started trading 2014, and we're above those all-time highs. So if it can keep going, there's really no overhead resistance to hold us back. So we'll see what happens. For now, the stop's around 53. Target area, we'll just wait to see if it can get over this $59 level first, and then if it's keeping its momentum up, and if it has quick consolidations and keeps running higher, this is when we probably keep raising our stop up on this. But a nice looking chart. Hopefully this one works out for us. Next one's LGND. This is a biotech name, pharmaceutical company. So I very rarely would take a full position in these. I almost always take half position. Again, let's check in on the weekly. This is the highs from 2016 right here. So it's got over those. And then if you zoom in closer, there's this $149 level that it came back and retested. So that's going to be our stop area. If it gets below that, we would look to exit. But this is a Friday put in a really nice move here. It's kind of breaking out of this triangle type pattern. So really, really nice looking chart. Had traded with some nice volume. So this is one. Like I said, our stop here is about $149. So if it breaks below that pattern, then we'd want to get out. And again, this is a half position. So initial target, we'll see if we can get up. This is about 6% higher. This high is from late January. I wouldn't, if it gets up to that level, I don't think I'm going to hit sell right away, but we'll just kind of see how it acts. Hopefully we could get a little more out of it than that. But if it gets up to that area and it starts consolidating, it looks like it might turn down, we might just take our profit there. So hopefully it gets up to that area and we have that decision to make. Next one, this is just this. We took a full position here. CVEO. We'll look at the weekly chart. Just really nice. There's this area about 350 to 360 that was, back in early 2017. It was resistance. Took the dip here. Couldn't quite crack it. So this is kind of like a cup and handle pattern here, or even this could be a inverse head and shoulders, but this is a little shoulder here, big head, and then it kind of comes back here with a little shoulder. But cup and handle pattern or inverse head and shoulders, they're really similar in that there's an overhead resistance area, and then regardless if it has a shoulder before, if it's just a flat area, here's the area here, which whether it be the right shoulder or the handle, where it takes a little dip back below that level, and then instead of going all the way back down where it went before, you can see the demand start to pick up a little bit sooner. So it takes a shallow dip and then it gets above those levels. So the measured move on a pattern like this, you take the bottom 161, go up to the breakout area 360. So that gets you almost $2. So the measured move would be about 560. I don't always count on getting there, especially I took a full position here. So we would take, if it starts moving in our favor, we would take partial gains on our way up to that. Let's look at what's interesting too about this one. If we look at the daily, it's a really similar pattern here on the daily. You have your, it's kind of the traditional cup and handle. It goes to this level, shallow dip out, big volume Friday. So really, really like this position. Hopefully it works out for us. We have a stop level, about 345, which is, just below this area that I usually would go down to this area, but that's given a little too much. That's 19%. So that's a little bit too wide of a stop. So we're going to about cut it in half and keep our loss capped at about 7-8%. So really nice position. If we want this one to break above this 380, 385 level and stay there, that would be really, really positive. Friday had a nice day, but if it can get back above Friday's highs, I think this one could really, really work out well for us. So we'll see what happens. Next one, AKAM, tech company. Really nice looking move on Friday. What got me in here is this area, resistance. Friday had that big bullish engulfing candle, which, the body of that candle engulfed really this whole day before it and really the whole week. So big move Friday, got to closed at the highest level. It's closed during this range. So I like this chart quite a bit. Again, this was a half position. We have the stop level here around $64. So again, giving this one a little bit of room down here in case it decides to fake some people out. That's a big level here. You can see, that was support here and here. So if it gets below that $64, we might have to reevaluate. It depends on your time frame and your trading style. I could also see bringing a stop down here, 60, but that's a 12% loss. I wouldn't be willing to take that. Another tactic would be, and one that might work well for some of you, is if you put your your stop below. If it has a big candle like this reversal, you can always put your stop below that previous day's low. So if we could put our stop here around 66.50, I could see that being a good strategy if you're a shorter term trader and wanted to limit your loss here. I usually like to give them a little bit more room, but I can see that being a good tactic as well. But going down to these lows there, that's giving up a little bit too much for me. But hopefully we can get some continuation next week. Friday was a big bullish day, so if we can stay above this $68 level, this one looks really good. TDOC, this one's been a big winner for us quick. This was, I commented last week how I was waiting for the earnings report for a long time. This is a weekly chart here. This $37, $38 level acted as resistance for a long time. So earnings came out here, had well received, big bullish move. Got the earnings behind us, and we also broke out of that pattern definitively. So then Thursday here, it kind of gave back about half of that. So that's when we got in. And then Friday, it kind of continued the move after the earnings. So really, really, really like the action here. We're up almost 10% in it already. If it gets up another couple dollars, perhaps we'll take some partial gains. We have a full position here. But this chart looks really good. I thought about taking gains Friday, but it just looks too bullish. I think we can get a little bit more out of this. Could be wrong, but I really like the looks of this chart. So a couple more dollars up, maybe take some partial gains, 13 to 15% if we're lucky enough to get there, and then we let the second half of the shares ride with the trend. So really bullish chart, both shorter term and longer term. It's nice to have one where you're up 10% after a couple days. So hopefully this one will turn into a big time winner for us. PPBI Regional Bank. This had another really nice day Friday. This is kind of the chart that got us in. Similar theme for me. There's an area here. It was resistance. I like when it kind of consolidates around that resistance level, and then we bought it right in here, and then Friday got a nice pop. So looking for some continuation there. Stop level on PPBI, around $40 here. So just under the 50-day in that consolidation period. So really nice looking chart. Again, depending on your objectives and parameters, I could see also if you wanted to tighten up your stop, putting it under, giving it a little bit of room under Friday's lows. And that's something, I put the stop areas when I send out my open positions here. These stop areas are pretty wide, but if the market starts experiencing some pressure, that doesn't mean I won't sell it before it gets to that stop area. And in reverse, if it, CJ comments a lot too on using discretion. If you have some gap down or something like that and it gets below your stop area, sometimes it pays to kind of just wait and see. Maybe if you need to set a hard stop, maybe take that day's lows and use that as your hard stop. But you can sometimes save yourself a little bit of a loss by using some discretion. But a hard stop's never a bad idea, especially if you can't watch the tickers and the charts all day. You're safe with a hard stop, but there's also some risks. Like with anything in trading, there's no perfect way to do it. You just have to do the best you can to manage your risks. So that's PPBI, really nice looking chart here. I'll kind of start going through these a lot quicker because we went through these last week. Some of these are longer positions. This one here, another biotech name, it's consolidating just above this support level. I really hope this gets going. I'd like to see it consolidate for a while, but it'd be nice to see this one get some up move. If we can target here, probably that 1950 area, we might look to take some profits there. But nice looking chart here. NBIX, another similar look here. Biotech, it's consolidating just above that key area. Friday had a nice day. So this one looks like it's ready to go. It's just been trading in a really tight range. So hopefully when it goes up, and we get to take some make some nice money from it. CIEN, this is a nice looking chart here. Similar theme: resistance, support. It's kind of been grinding around that former resistance area. It's acting as support. So it'd be nice to see this one get some upward momentum. I do like this chart quite a bit. As long as it could stay over that yellow box, I think hopefully this one can turn into a winner. If it gets below that, we might see it stop. I have a 22-ish level for the stop area, so that's right here at the, at the 50-day. So we'll see what happens there. But if it stays above this 23, and if you haven't gotten into this position too, this is, the risk reward is really similar to when we entered it. So nice looking chart there. MKSI, really like this one. Similar look to PPBI. It's just kind of a similar theme. These are kind of charts I look for. So resistance, broke above it, kind of retested it here. Nice move Friday. So looking for this one to make a move next week. Hopefully we get some continuation off that action on Friday. So nice looking chart. We have our stop here, 104. So, that's again around the 50-day, little under this area, give it some room. If these charts like this, if they start moving up in our favor, we'll want to raise the stops back to around the break-even level, a few dollars, just to kind of lock in some of that gain or ensure it doesn't turn into a loss. So I'll comment on that when it happens. Next one is Wave. This is the one we had that nice quick 30% gain. Since giving some back, we just have a small. It's down to a 25% position here. So I don't see anything wanting me to get out of this one. It's still in an uptrend. That could be a trend line here that we would trade against. So that's still a couple bucks below. So giving this one some room. It's kind of just consolidating. I mean, he had that monster move. One thing that I would be a little concerned about is this area here that was acting as support around 49.50 could potentially be resistance. But again, to me, it doesn't look too bad. It looks like it's kind of digesting those gains. Again, we only have 25% position, and we're up 15% in that position. So we'll give it some time. Hopefully, it can consolidate those gains and then go screaming up again. TSE, we've gone over this one a lot. I'm not going to go a lot of time. Looks pretty healthy. This is the big area we're watching, uptrend line here. So not a bad looking chart. Hold 50%. This one is a nice surprise last week. So this was one we have. We took an 8% partial gain. Now we're up about 16%. It started to consolidate here. I kind of thought it was going to, kind of flag down a little bit and take some time to digest those gains. But instead, Friday, it just had a nice, 3% up move on decent volume. So it broke over this, old high of 72.50. So nice surprise for me. But this is a really strong chart. I'm glad we have some nice gains, 8% partial gain, and now we're up 16% in the rest of the position. So like what I see here, maybe we'll look to raise the stops if it keeps going up. If you really want to lock in profits, I think this area below 70 would be a nice stop area. Again, I might give it a little bit more room, but that would be a key level to watch there. Nucor, steel companies were doing well last week with the trade tariffs. One thing I'm watching here, if you don't own this one, if it gets above this, it's almost like a inverse head and shoulders here. But if it can get above that $68, $69 level, and you don't own this, it might be a good time to get in. So nice looking chart here. Hopefully it gets above that level and we can get some more pop out of this one. Regional bank here, Ozarks here, Bank of the Ozarks. We've gone over this weekly chart before. We had that when it dipped under and closed above, a kind of a washout there. So Friday was a nice move. We still have 100% position on this one, full position. I think we're up about 4% after that nice move Friday. So we'll see if we can get a little bit, if we can, test these old highs from January, 52, 53. If it consolidates around there, that'd be a good area for me to take half off the table and go down to the trending position. but that yellow line is key. You see a dip below it there. So if it could stay above 48, it looks pretty good. Hopefully we can get a move up here next week. Tech, this daily chart doesn't look great. This weekly chart is one I really like. Solid fundamentals, still over that breakout area. We hold it's half a position here, so I'm exercising some patience. But of all of my open positions, this is the one if it could change quickly on Monday, but right now, if it doesn't start moving up, I'm not crazy about this chart. But again, longer term, it's not broken, so I'm going to be patient with this one, and hopefully after some consolidation, it can start moving up again. Kind of similar, BlackBerry. BlackBerry had a nice Friday, but again, I always default to the weekly chart here. It just looks really healthy here, uptrend. So until that changes, we'll continue to hold a half position there. RP, this one had that huge move after earnings and kind of gave it all back then. This is kind of a key level here, this $50 level. Friday it dipped all the way below that and then had a really strong close. It's trading at some pretty big volume. So this one, we have a 18% gain here. My stop loss is at 45. I'm going to look to raise that. 45 is just under this consolidation level. I'm going to look to raise that up. I'll get out a new open positions with some new stops. I think this, we can, again, it's at your discretion, but I think that low from Friday would be a good area to set your stop again. So that's 49. So if you gave it a little room, maybe 48 around that 50-day. So I'll get that changed when I get out the open positions. But regardless, this has been a nice winner for us, a nice looking chart. So it looks healthy, so nothing to do right now. And then our longest holding here, BTU, this one's just been consolidating forever. It looks, again, we touched on it last week, if it could get above this $42 level, this one might really take off again. But we've had a nice run with this one, up about 33% in our position. So hopefully we get some more out of it. But those are all the open positions. Don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have questions. If I send out a buy alert and you're wondering what I'm thinking, just shoot me an email. That's what I'm here for. Or if you have questions on any of these positions or watch lists, don't hesitate to ask. So again, that's, I think, about 85% invested, up from about 50% a couple weeks ago. So lot more positions to manage. I look at all the charts of my open positions, and I'm really optimistic. I really like the looks. If you just click through all these charts, besides tech, as I mentioned, that doesn't scream by to me, but all these other ones look pretty healthy, or they're right in buy areas. If I didn't own a lot of these, I would want to. So hopefully we have a nice week again. Like I said, nothing's guaranteed. Monday could come and gap down, and this pretty TDOC chart here, it could get ugly quick. You just never know. So you have to be prepared for that, and most importantly, you have to let it not bother you. You just what the risk is in every trade. So we can't predict the outcomes, but we can predict we can control our process. So that's all we can do. But if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I know we really appreciate your membership. So take care. Thank you.